All right, guys, so we have a couple mods today for the Ram TRX, and two of them are sitting right here. So the first one is going to be the Weathertech window deflectors, which of course are going to allow you to put the window down a little bit without getting any kind of rain in there and avoiding some of the air from rushing in there whenever you just crack the window. Now, these are the in-channel visors. So what that's going to do is basically mean it's not permanently altering the truck. There's no double-sided tape involved. It fits into the actual channel of the window to kind of allow you to have a little bit more freedom whenever it's raining outside and a little bit more freedom from air blasting you in the face kind of thing. And honestly, I think they look kind of cool in the truck. The second one, we are going to be replacing the Ram logos on the doors with some TRX logos. Now, if you can't tell, mine doesn't actually even have the Ram logos. They were taken off for the XPEL purposes, and I never had them put back on because I knew I wanted to do this anyway. So the links for this stuff will be in the description below. There is at least one more mod coming that will be here tomorrow. So this is kind of going to go over the period of 2 days. It is something that I have been told multiple times in the comment section that I need for the truck. So that will be coming tomorrow. So for now, let's jump into these two right here. All right, guys. So we're going to start with the TRX badge here. Now, I'll put the part number down here on the screen right here for you guys. I'll put the link to them as well because I found these relatively cheap. I believe they were 30 bucks a piece. Some of the dealerships and some of the other websites want a little bit more than that, especially after they factor in shipping. So as you can see, I don't have the Ram badging here. Like I said, it was removed for my PPF install and I chose to leave them off because I knew I was going this route. There's a crease in the door right along here. So there's two. Right in this area here, you can kind of see they follow down. This will follow that crease and it's going to start right around the bend of the two-tone color here. So what we're going to do is we're going to wipe down this area with some alcohol, make sure it's nice and clean, and that these things will appropriately adhere to that. So right in this area here, we're going to just go crazy with the alcohol, make sure that this is all nice and cleaned up. So you can see we're going to be able to line this up and kind of stick it down. So right about there is where we're going to want to be. And I'll just go ahead and press it down and into place. And that's one done. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the passenger side, and then we're going to jump into the window visors afterwards. All right, guys, and just like that, they are done. Super easy install. Like I said, I didn't want to make this a how-to video, but at the same time, I did want to show it getting done because I think it's one of those things that, in my opinion, it kind of should have come that way to begin with. I'm not a giant fan of debadging my vehicles, but I do like whenever things make sense, and honestly, this makes sense. So if you agree, I will put all of the information in the description down below of where you can get those for the best price possible on the internet, and you saw how to install them, minus you maybe having to remove your own Ram badges. They go on pretty easily. All right, so now that the TRX badges are done, we're going to move on to the Weathertech side window deflectors. Right here is the part number you're going to want for the TRX. That's going to get you the same exact part I have here, and of course it's going to be enough to do all 4 windows on the TRX. So let's go ahead and unbox this thing and get started. So here we are at the back of the truck. I got everything unboxed for the most part. You can see there's the 2 driver side and passenger side visors here, and then underneath the box here are still the rear windows. But what's interesting is when I opened this up, I thought one was damaged for a second because the way that that's curved down in. So that is actually there to allow the mirrors to fold in without hitting anything. So don't be alarmed. But anyway, we're going to start with the driver's side one. Now, one thing that I'm not really fond of is this kind of advertising almost. So it's not a vinyl, it's not really a sticker, it's like almost kind of gooey. We have something coming for this. It's something that someone actually reached out to me about and wanted me to test it. And oddly enough, I didn't think I was going to need it until I opened these up and saw that. And so I told the guy to go ahead and send it to me. I'm going to show you guys how we can remove stuff like this, whether it's off of this or off of your car if you have a vinyl on there from the dealership you bought it from or whatever. Real easy way to get this stuff off, especially if it's old. They come off in kind of tiny little pieces. This tool will take this right off, no issue. We're going to touch on that in a second, but let's get these installed first. So the first thing you're going to want to do, obviously, is make sure your window's open and also fold your mirrors back out if you have them in. And then this is relatively easy to install. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that the bottom part here that's going to rest by the mirror, it has a little clear adhesive on it there that will allow it to sit on top of the weather channel without damaging anything. This has to be on top. It's not going to slide inside. We're going to start there and kind of just work our way around the entire channel. Now at some point we are going to have to bend it down to get this back part in. So once you got the front part with that little adhesive layer on it in place, we can kind of bend this, and there's a decent amount of bend to it, and then just kind of seat it in there and then work it into place the rest of the way around. So just like that. Now this does actually come with a tool here. This is something to help seat this in the weather channel the entire way around. I'm going to go ahead and run this through just to make sure it is fully seated. And actually it wasn't up there, so good thing tools like this exist. Now basically we're ready to go. What the instructions say to do next is to put the window up and down 5 times, again just to make sure everything is fully seated. And then I'm going to also close the mirrors here to make sure that there's no clearance issues there. All right, now let's go ahead and see if there's any issues with the mirrors. No, so as you can see, that little cutout right there was literally to stop the mirror from hitting. If that wasn't there, it probably would have hit. And to just show you guys again one more time what I was talking about with the ledge having to sit up on top of the weather seal, you can see there's that little bit of a clear piece of protective tape or so that sits on top of the weather trim so it doesn't damage it. But so far I like the way it looks. Gives it a little more of an aggressive look, especially since the truck's black. Those vent visors are black. Everything's black. I like it. So on the rear windows, it is a little bit different. Up at the top, there's actually 2 metal clips. These little metal clips here have to actually fit into the top weather trim. They actually are what holds the rear ones in place. So you take the included tool here, which has a little hook on the end, and you can actually grab a part of the weather seal up here, as you can see, and you'll pop in the clip with the long side facing the inside of the cabin. So they say about 3 inches back, so we'll go about right here, pop it up into the channel, just like that. So once you install the actual visor, it covers that. You won't see that, but you got to put one in there and then obviously one in back here. And of course you'll be able to tell which visor goes on which side, because the rear of the cabin has a little bit of a curve to it, whereas the front of it has more of a squared off edge. So this is obviously the passenger side. What you'll want to do is just put both ends of the visor in, slide it up, and then we're gonna pop it over top of those clips we just put in, and then push in towards the inside of the cabin as you're also pushing up to seat this thing in the window channel. You'll kind of hear it fighting against those clips, but that's what the tension is, actually what holds it in place. So just like that. And then we'll go ahead and put the window up and down 5 times to make sure it's seated. All right, guys, and finally, like I said, I'm not really a big fan of the WeatherTech logo there, but they're really hard to get off. You can't just get your fingernail under there and pull it off. You kind of need something to get it off there in a more aggressive fashion. Now, like I said, I actually had a company reach out to me called Canopus. It's actually just a rubber eraser wheel, and what that's going to do is we're going to attach it to the drill, and it should take that off relatively easy. I've never used one of these before, so I'm a little bit nervous about it, but I'm told it will work. Now, here's the instructions here. The big thing is that you want to keep the speed somewhere around 1500 to 3000 RPM at the most. But guys, I will link this in the description down below, because these are actually priced really, really well. And if it works nicely, there's no reason to spend more when these things work just as well. Fingers crossed that it doesn't completely destroy this thing. Let's get into it and see what happens. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and clean it up and see what we got. That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. There's a couple little spots here I still got to hit some more, but yeah, it doesn't even look like it scratched it. I don't know how that's even possible. Yeah, guys, I'm impressed. Like I said, I've never used one of these before, so this thing was really good. It was obviously very user-friendly, because I had no idea what I was doing other than just following these 5 instructions here on the back. So yeah, guys, big thumbs up here. Check out the description below if you're interested. I'm gonna pick up here again with you guys tomorrow to show you the last mod for today's video, or technically tomorrow's video. Anyway, let's fast forward 24 hours.
The next day.
All right, guys, and just like that, it is the next day. I promised you there is another mod coming, and it just came in today, and it's sitting on the back of the truck. Let's walk over and take a look at it. For those of you who couldn't guess it, it is finally the black lug nuts for the truck. So these are the ones I went with. I will link them in the description down below along with everything else we did here today. But guys, check it out. They come packaged all in one, which is a little concerning, but we're going to go ahead and get these installed on the truck. I'm going to do them one by one versus pulling off the entire wheel. I'm just going to take out one lug nut at a time so I can kind of show you guys the before and after. I'll probably do the front wheel first. Because this is a black truck with black wheels, I feel like the black lug nuts need to be a thing because that chrome just stands out a little bit too much in my opinion. But if you guys are interested in doing the same thing, like I said, everything will be in the description below, but we are going with the Gorilla lugs on the new 2022 TRX. So let's get to it. So here we have the stock lug nut versus the Gorilla lug. And as you can see, the Gorilla's a tad bit taller, maybe a 1/16 of an inch or so. But the big thing we want to look at is the fact that they're both kind of the cone shaped at the bottom. That's going to be important for proper fitment and seating on the stock wheels here. So yeah, that's pretty much the look at it, and honestly they look pretty good. They came in the box all together, which is kind of a concern for me usually, because whenever the lug nuts are tossed in there loosely, they can kind of bang around and hit each other and chip the paint. But the fact that none of these look chipped is a good sign. And just like that, guys, we got one installed. So you can see the obvious difference there. It is going to look a lot more stock, a lot more kind of complete almost, because chrome stands out pretty big against especially the black of the wheels here. That is looking far better already. So let's finish these ones up, and we're going to then compare them to the rear wheel and show you the massive difference that these things are going to make. All right, guys, so we got the front driver's side wheel done. As you can see, all blacked out, looks very stockish. Right there's the box, of course. But if we back up a little bit here, I'm going to show you the difference in what you get. So yeah, it looks a lot more like this is how it should have come stock versus this being the aftermarket. Definitely a better look. So we're gonna go ahead and finish them all up, and then we're gonna show you the after, and then we're pretty much done. All right, guys, so we are totally done. Got all four wheels blacked out. We got the TRX logos on the door instead of Ram, and we got the Weathertech vent visors put on. So nothing too crazy today, just moving in the right direction with the truck. So anyway, guys, if you liked what you saw, please smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content. Let me know you're liking the mods on the TRX so I can keep doing these kind of videos for you guys. The majority of the reason why I do this kind of stuff, even whenever it's just little mods, is just to let you guys know that they exist and where to get them, which is why they're all going to be linked in the description down below. But if you guys are liking it, like I said, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well, because you're not going to want to miss what's coming next. And as always, guys, I will catch you in the next upload.